6 steps how to adjust the bench set on control valve. Today I gonna share how to adjust the bench set on direct acting control valve. What is bench set? The bench set is expressed as the range of pressure from the beginning of the actuator to the valve's nominal travel. Because the actuator's spring rates are not very compatible, it is sensible to believe that only one of the bench set points can be met and the critical value adjusted should be the one. This setting is performed before it is actuator stem connected to valve stem. Bench set is one of the important parameter for control valve. It establishes the seating force, seat load, of the plug against the seat when the valve is fully closed. Proper seating stress is critical for tight shutdown, which in some process facilities has safety consequences. Step 1. Uncouple the valve stem and actuator stem. Temporary loading pressure for the actuator diaphragm. Also provide a certified pressure gauge, PG, suitable to accurately read the diaphragm pressure from 0 through the upper bench set pressure marked on the actuator nameplate. Provide temporary means of applying and adjustable loading pressure to the actuator during the adjustment E.G pressure regulator. Step 2. Ensure that the actuator stem is at the top of its travel as shown in the diagram. Set the diaphragm loading pressure at 0 psi. And slowly raise the pressure from 0 psi towards the lower bench set pressure while checking for the first movement of the actuator stem. Monitor the actuator stem should show movement at the lower bench set pressure at 3 psi. If movement occurs before or after the lower pressure is reached, adjust the spring adjuster into or out of the yoke until the actuator stem's movement is first detected at the lower bench set pressure 3 psi. Step 3. Be sure the spring adjuster is adjusted to meet the requirements of Step 2, mean to adjust the spring via spring adjuster to meet 3 psi for first movement. Step 4. Apply the upper bench set loading pressure to the diaphragm. This pressure extends the actuator stem towards the valve. Note, the actuator stem may slide over the valve stem. At the end of the actuator stem, use a marker or a cello tape to mark the valve stem. Note also that if the actuator stem does not pass over the valve stem, you will need to provide a method to mark this point of stem travel. Step 5. Slowly decrease the diaphragm loading pressure until the lower bench set pressure is applied. Measure the distance between the marker or tape on the valve stem to the end of the actuator stem. The distance should match the travel span shown on the travel indicator scale. If the span of the travel is correct, bench set adjustment is complete. You can then proceed to couple the valve stem and actuator stem together. Step 6. If the span is not correct after a few attempts stroke check and spring adjustment, then the spring may have been damaged, or you have the wrong spring installed on the valve actuator. In this case, actuator spring is required for replacement. Other method of bench set on direct acting control valve.